Hello everyone, so I have an update here on Ukraine's strike at occupied Sevastopol. First, the big news. This photo here confirms a successful hit on a Ropucha-Class landing ship which was currently in dry dock. Here is a comparison image of the ship which was hit at dry dock and an image of the port side of a Ropucha-Class ship. So you can see it is a match and has been identified. So one Ropucha can be confirmed as damaged if not destroyed. Here, I've highlighted the key areas for you, which confirm this as being the port side of the Rapua, just to make it easier to see. Now, I thought at first this could be the Olenogorsky Gornyak, the same ship which was hit by Ukraine by marine drones in August this year. The Gornyak had been in dry dock in Novorossiysk, but as seen on this satellite image here, left dry dock on at least the August the 28th. Now, that ship is in terrible condition with a gaping hole in its side, so it wouldn't be back in service yet. There was some speculation that it may have been scuttled out at sea somewhere, or transferred to another dry dock, such as the one at Sevastopol. On the same day, a Rapua and a Kilo were seen at Sevastopol dry dock, seen here in this satellite image. So I thought this could be the Gornyak which had been transferred here, and the one hit in Ukraine's strike was the Gornyak again. However, Russia has since confirmed that the Rapua-class ship hit last night was in fact the Minsk. So the mystery about the Gornyak's location still continues. The Kilo submarine that was hit has been confirmed to be the Rostov-on-Don. We don't have a photo or video of that and the extent of the damage yet, but Russia says it was damaged in the attack. Here's a photo of a Rostov. So, a pretty new submarine which was commissioned in December 2014. Here, a satellite image from yesterday showing both the Rapua-class ship, the Minsk, and the Kilo Rostov-on-Don at the dry dock, so we know they were there. Now, let's have a look at Russia's claims. Surprisingly, they have admitted that two ships were damaged, so this confirms the Rapua and the Kilo were hit. I'm surprised we didn't spin the usual yarn about no damage caused. Although, given the photo we have of the Rapua, I think damaged is a bit of an understatement. I would say its goose is cooked. Russia also says the strike consisted of 10 missiles and unmanned boats, with many of the missiles shot down. Now, reading behind the lines, I think what we're looking at here is either absolute twaddle and Russia pulled that 10 missile number out of their hindquarters, or Russian air defences once again fell for mauled decoy missiles. These missiles drew the Samfire and allowed the other missiles, which I'd guess would be Storm Shadow, Neptune, or Hrim 2, to get through and hit the target. So Russia may have hit missiles, but it's very likely they were actually mauled decoys. We do know that Ukraine uses a mould alongside the Storm Shadow and other missiles in order to provide the decoys. So that is possible. This video here shows the strike. Now, something is burning before the impact, so we have one impact before, another one filmed, and then possibly a third impact, or it could be a secondary explosion from what was hit. It's hard to tell. Now, if this was a direct hit on the Kilo sub, I'd say the submarine would be out of action for the considerable future, if not indefinitely. I can't see a Kilo surviving a direct missile hit. We don't have any photo or video of the Kilo yet, so we are going to have to wait and see, and wait for confirmation. Now, the dry dock will likely be out of commission for a while. These are pretty sturdy things, so I don't think it will be fully destroyed. But the one here is now clogged with two destroyed or damaged ships. Not to mention damage to various bits of machinery and cranes and that sort of thing used to repair the ships here. So this will have sustained some damage. So for a while, the Sevastopol dry dock is gone. This is important. Sevastopol has, I think, 3 dry docks. Novorossiysk base of the Black Sea doesn't have any, but the civilian harbour has 3 of various sizes, though the capabilities for handling military ships is unknown. Finally, Rostov-on-Don shown here has 1 dry dock, and this one currently occupied by the SIG oil tanker. So this means that Russia is now actually running low on dry docks. This is important, as Russia uses these not only to repair ships damaged in Ukrainian attacks, but also ships which need to undergo routine maintenance. The Kilo sub, for example, there was no report of a Ukrainian strike on a Kilo, so the one in the dry dock at Sevastopol would have been undergoing regular routine maintenance. So this is definitely going to impact Russia's ship repair and maintenance capabilities. There's a floating dock at occupied Mariupol, but I think if Russia sent a ship to repair there, flashing its bits and giving an alluring wink at Ukraine, it would be too tempting to target and would be thoroughly rogered rigid by Ukrainian missiles. So the Rapua is confirmed, and Russia has confirmed it's a Minsk. So this is the third Rapua-class ship added to Oryx. The Kilo, which has been confirmed by Russia to be the Rostov-on-Don, would be the first of its kind added, and I suspect feeling pretty lonely in the Hall of Pain on its own. So the right thing to do would be for Ukraine to give it some company soon, so it's no longer on its Todd. Now, I covered this in the last video, but for those who missed it, a few numbers. The Black Sea Fleet has 4 Rapua-class ships in service: the Azov, Novocherkassk, Caesar, Kunivand, and the Yamal. The Novocherkassk and Kunikov were damaged at Berdyansk last year, but confirmed by satellite imagery to be active again. These ships have since been supplemented by 5 additional Rapua-class ships: the Minsk, which was hit during this strike, the Korolev and the Kaliningrad, all from the Baltic Fleet, and the Georgy, Popadonasets, and the Olenogesky Gornyak from the Northern Fleet. The Gornyak, remember, hit by Ukraine early this year. And these ships are important. With the Crimean Bridge being inoperable for heavy vehicles and trains, these are doing the bulk of Russia's resupply to Crimea. One of these can carry 10 tanks or up to 500 tons of cargo, so a nice strike here on Russia's logistical supply ships. As for the Kilo, 7 are with the Black Sea Fleet: the Alrosa, Novorossiysk, the Rostov-on-Don, which was hit during this strike, the Starý Oskol, the Krasnodar, the Veliky Novgorod, and the Kolpino. Of these, one is actually in the Baltic at the moment, the Novorossiysk, and one, the Krasnodar, is in the Mediterranean. So Russia has just 5 active in the Black Sea. These are important targets as Russia uses these to launch Caliber missiles. So one of these being destroyed does impact Russia's capabilities to launch strikes over the Black Sea. But it doesn't end it. Russia does have 3 frigates which launch Calibers attached to the Black Sea Fleet, all Admiral Grigorovich-class ships. They also have 4 Buyanem-class ships which can launch Caliber. But no doubt a big and important strike here, and a big embarrassment for Russia, who continues to lose a naval war against a country which doesn't have a navy. Before we finish, here is the range of the Storm Shadow missile to reach Sevastopol. So these would likely have been launched over the Black Sea, possibly just beyond Snake Island. I imagine they would have flew at a low altitude until nearing the launch point to avoid early detection by radar, rose to an altitude to launch the Storm Shadows, as the Storm Shadow needs to be launched at a high altitude, and then return to base quickly. But we can't rule out other choices, preferring 2 or the Neptune, which are ground-based. But I think Storm Shadow is most likely here. Now remember, the past month or so, Ukraine has been knocking out Russia's radar systems along the coast, an S-400 SAM system in Crimea, and also recaptured the Boyka Towers, on which was a Russian radar and monitoring equipment. So all of that likely aided in the success of today's strike at Sevastopol. Finally, here is NASA's firm's image. This shows large fires breaking out at Sevastopol at 1 AM Greenwich Mean Time. So the strike occurred around that time, and as you can see here, pretty big fires detected. So that's it for this video. Now, before we finish, I'm going to play a thank you message from Sanath, who has completed the handover of equipment from a recent fundraiser, which I hope you enjoy too. Thanks very much, and take care everybody.